Not much to say about this one. It's a great little interview. I love getting to know Eric. I love riding with Eric, and I hope you guys get a little bit out of Eric's personality in this interview. Thanks for making it happen. So, who are you, and where are we at right now?
I'm Eric of BCPOV, and we're in Lot 5 in Whistler in my van.
Cool.
Yeah.
This is a very, very nice van. He's been documenting all the goings on, building the van out, and it's been a little bit of an adventure, huh?
Yeah. Well, it's been like between having a full-time job and building the van and doing the channel, it's been like super time-consuming and tough. And actually, we moved into the van without actually totally being ready to move in the van. Like it's, if you turn the camera on right now, you'd see that it's not quite done yet. But yeah, it's we're loving it still. So
All part of the adventure, right?
exactly.
And you were even
yeah.
telling me that you kind of want to move into the van before you complete everything, because there's all kinds of stuff that
Yeah.
you never know.
Because like when we first moved in, we're like, oh, okay, we have like way too much stuff. So we're still like trying to figure out like what we actually do need, what we need to get rid of, and then like still like there's design things like whether we need to put a toilet somewhere. So we haven't filled in certain spaces, and then we could still place a toilet if we still really want it.
Yeah.
So
So you quit your job, you're a full-time YouTuber now. This is all recent developments.
yeah, it is. It is, but it's really exciting.
Yeah.
Actually, isn't it? Yeah, but it felt really like the right thing to do. Like, yeah, I've been chomping at the bit for a long time to go full time, and it feels like the channel is at a place where I can actually do that. And then obviously living in a van is pretty cheap, and then Yuka's totally down with it, and she's working as well. So
Yuka's your wife.
yeah, Yuka's my wife, and that cuts my costs even in half.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's I think it'll work out. Yeah.
That's the optimism. That's what it's all about. So why YouTube? Where did you even get started on this whole thing?
Probably watching you.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, watching your channel. Like I feel like yeah, you totally paved the way for all of us copycats. Like, and there's a lot of them, aren't there? But yeah, I saw you. I saw guys like Seth, Phil, and they're all doing a great job. Alexander, and I'm like, yeah, I can do that too. And then I did it. I'm like, okay, this is a lot harder than I thought it was. Like, but like I love mountain biking so much, and I really wanted it to work. So I just worked as hard as I could at it, and I think it's paying off.
It comes through. It definitely comes through. I love your videos. I watch your videos, and I think this whole BC area just has so much to give and so much to show about how they're getting it right, like on every front with mountain biking. And your channel has done a great job, and I'm sure getting people to come here and ride these trails and also get in over their heads, because oh my god, it's way crazier than you could ever imagine.
Totally, yeah. I just had a comment today. He's like, oh yeah, I just planned a trip to Squamish because I was watching your videos. I'm like, oh, that's awesome.
That's how we know we're reaching people. It's
exactly
amazing.
Yeah. It feels so authentic too.
Yes.
Especially all the comments, and you're just like, yeah, there's real people out there, and it's sometimes hard to comprehend. Like, okay, yeah, like 20,000 people just watch my video, and it's a number, right? But then each one of those 20,000 people is a person that watched.
Is out there.
Yeah.
There's a real person that's into mountain biking, that's stoked on. Yeah, it's very hard to comprehend.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Yeah, it's. But then you have people coming up to you in real life, and they're like, oh yeah, I watch your videos, and yeah, I really love them, and like, oh okay, yeah. Yeah, it just becomes extremely real at that point. Yeah.
So what were you doing before you made the leap?
I worked as an artist in video games. So I built like buildings and environments, and I had been doing that for 18 years, since the year 2000.
And we're the same age.
Yeah.
So both born in 82, graduated around 2000. So you just went right into it. You didn't go to college. You just sapped right into it.
Yeah, my teacher in high school, he was amazing, Bill Henderson, and basically he just had all these computers at the ready for us with the software, and basically said, if you can show that you've learned something this term, and I'll let you grade yourself, and you just have to prove that you learned something. And that was actually awesome, because basically he forced us to teach ourselves or teach each other, right?
Yeah.
at the time, 3D art and stuff was like really exciting. It was just a group of us, and we're all super keen, and we're asking each other questions and trying to one up each other and that kind of thing.
That's such a cool environment.
Yeah.
It's almost kind of like the YouTube environment right now. That we see each other, we rely on each other,
Totally.
we interact with each other,
Yeah.
and we try to push each other to get better and better.
Yeah, and I see what other guys are doing. I'm like, okay, I should probably do a variation of that, or like just riffing off each other.
Yes.
And obviously the collabs and stuff. And
Exactly.
yeah.
It's
really good.
it's fun to kind of see behind the scenes how people get stuff set up, but there's another part to it that I always kind of behind the scenes on the mountain biker YouTube. It's always about monetization. It's always about money. Where I wish everyone just would obsess about better videos. How do we get better videos?
Yeah.
What would be a better adventure? What would it be? And I think we're gonna have a pretty good adventure in a couple days, going to the Chilcotins.
Yes, it's gonna be awesome. Actually, I've been wanting to do a video there for a long time, and even better to make it with you.
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah.
Yeah.
So what do you spend your time worrying about now?
Whether I can get my edits done in time for our ping pong video series.
Yeah, so I tried to.
Yeah.
When you do these collabs, there's always different ways to do it. And for me, I like this whole idea of like my video one day, his video one day, back and forth. So now we've got kind of crappy internet, and we're trying to make time.
Yeah.
We're riding friggin' 5-6 days, and
Yeah, and some big days too.
Yeah.
We're writing. I'm like, oh, maybe I should be editing right now. Oh, but the trails are really good. So,
yeah, exactly.
yeah.
And it's been great, and
Yeah.
it'll all work out if we have to skip a day or something, which sucks. It's like the worst fear of a YouTuber is having to
Yeah.
skip a day.
No, yeah, it'll work out. But yeah, for me already, it's like I'm ramping up now, right? Whereas I was going from one video a week, I'll be going to 2 or 3.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
So, but that's natural, the natural progression. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. So, some people would say you're working video games, art. Oh my God, this is like amazing. Like I would kill for that.
Yeah.
But it doesn't always work out that way.
Well, when I started my career, I was super keen. Over the years, you get a little more jaded, and it becomes more of a paycheck
Yeah.
than a passion. Maybe the biggest thing is that, yeah, you're making somebody else money, right? So, yeah, if I can do something for me that's my passion, then it's like it's not going to go away.
Ownership.
Like,
That's
yeah.
something we've been talking about a lot.
Yeah.
The ownership is like, it's a very magical thing to be able to like, boom, this is me. I'm going to play by my rules. I have my people on Patreon, and
Yeah.
they're my boss, and they love what I do, so they don't really argue too much, but they have input.
Yeah.
And versus some random faceless company that's like, okay, I'm going to go with this and do that, and then it turns into a paycheck again.
Yeah. Yeah, and the Patreon thing, like, I'm pretty sure I could do, like I said, do you guys mind if I make a cat video? And they're all like, yeah, go for it. They're like stoked on it, right?
Exactly.
And
the biggest cheerleaders.
I don't think I could do anything wrong by their eyes. But I feel so indebted to them. I'm
Yes.
like, like, they are kind of your boss.
Yes.
But at the same time, they just want you to be you, right?
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
yeah.
It's the best of both worlds. Like I always have that fire burning under my ass, where it's like, okay, got to get this out, got to get this out. Those, got to get, okay, got to, But on the other side, like you're saying, it's not like a demonic dictator. It's like a cheering
Totally.
fans. Like, yes, let's do this.
Yeah, they're your super fans, right?
What a weird world we live in.
Yeah.
That this is
No,
possible.
it's a great world.
Yeah.
But it's just times are changing, aren't they?
Yeah.
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 Who would have thought 10 years ago we'd be making videos on the internet and having just 100 or 200, or in your case 1,300 bosses?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That
Yeah.
make it possible. Like
Yeah.
put the gas in the tank.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Okay, so if I challenged you to a Street Fighter 2 Championship Edition fight, who's your character? Who are you picking?
Oh, I never played much Street Fighter.
Oh, what in the world?
Street Fighter was mostly SNES, wasn't it?
Yes.
So I skipped that.
Yeah.
So I had the NES, and then as for the SNES, my parents wouldn't get me one. Then I got the N64.
No Genesis in there?
My
Mega Drive or
my
whatever?
friend had a Genesis, and it was cool to play Mortal Kombat because his had blood on it.
Of course, of course.
And the SNES one had green blood, I think.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But yeah.
So you're more of an N64 man. That's kind of where you cut your teeth.
Yeah, and I'm such a Nintendo fanboy too. Like, if Mario game comes out, I'm playing it. If Zelda comes out, I'm playing it. Those core titles. So,
Yeah, so you got
yeah.
a little Nintendo Switch in the van
Yeah.
for your traveling gaming.
Yeah, and hopefully I can start playing that a little more, and hopefully I have a little more time. But I haven't actually played it since.
Yeah, it never really
moved
works
in.
out that
Yeah,
way,
yeah.
huh?
So,
maybe one day. Just set aside a little time.
Yeah, I hope so.
Do you remember your first mountain bike ride?
No, not really. But I remember just kind of the first rides, I guess.
Yeah.
And they were at Ledgeview Mountain in Abbotsford. We had kind of mountain bikes, like just fully rigid, and we were using them to ride to school or whatever. And the hills, back then the hills seemed so massive, and like it was like impossible to even pedal up. Like, and yeah, it was just exciting. I just remember really dry, dusty, hot days, and eventually I was keen enough on it that I would just go session at the high school or whatever, and do like 100 wheelie drops off the same ledge in a row, and just go. It was a ledge that could, if you went further along it, it would get the drop would get bigger and bigger, and then eventually I made my way up to like 8 feet or something.
Whoa!
Yeah, like wheelie drop to flat, and then the ledge. I ran out of ledge, so I couldn't go anymore. But that's what you do when you're a kid, right? You just like. You got all the time in the world. All right, I'm gonna go ride my bike. You know?
Yeah, and for me, it was play video games. So I kind of missed out. Like my friends that are really, really good at biking, they have this like foundation of being a kid. For me, it was like I rode my bike to school and back, and kind of, sorta. But mountain biking didn't really capture my imagination till years later.
Hey there.
Hey,
What's the deal with the parking around here?
it's free right now.
Is it really?
Yeah, after 5, it's free.
Oh.
Yeah.
I just want to go for like a bite to eat or something. I thought it was going to be like cost me $25 to park. I'm like,
Yeah, it's
okay.
free right now.
All right,
Yeah.
thanks.
Yeah. So living in the van, you kind of have a whole new dimension of kind of people are always coming up to you and asking for tours and stuff.
Yeah. Well, I guess he wasn't even asking for a tour.
Yeah,
He's just wondering about parking. But yeah, that's definitely an aspect, and I expect to give a lot of van tours with his life, I think.
So you did have kind of a big gap between mountain biking as a kid, and then getting into the industry of video games, and then somewhere in there you rediscovered mountain biking.
Yeah. So I rode mountain bikes until I was probably 19, and then I got the career job in Vancouver making video games, and that's what I wanted to do. I guess at that time I was as passionate for that as I am for this right now. And so I sold my bike and I decided that's what I was going to do. I wish I had not done that because I moved to Vancouver, and I was moving to the best trails in the world, or some of the best trails in the world.
Of course.
And maybe 6-7 years ago, I went to a picnic, and a friend of mine brought his mountain bike, and I'm like, oh, can I play around on your mountain bike for a bit? And I could still do a bunny hop, and I could still do drops, and like, oh, maybe I should get a mountain bike. And then also he told me to watch a film called Life Cycles, which is a gorgeous film. And I watched that, I'm like, whoa, mountain biking's awesome now.
Yeah.
Like, so I bought like a Santa Cruz Bullet, 2008 Santa Cruz Bullet, because Santa Cruz at the time, it's still a good brand now, but when I was a kid, that was like, oh, the Bullet's like a dream bike when I was a kid, so I'm like, oh, I'll get the Bullet. Well, a 2008 Santa Cruz Bullet was like an endo machine, like a super short wheelbase, high bottom bracket, the head angle is like almost vertical, so yeah, basically I went over the bars many times on that bike, but I still had a ton of fun. I broke my ribs a couple times in that first season, but because learning on the shore, it's hard, man. Like I learned a few times, like bringing friends, like you should come try mountain biking, and I took him to the shore, and I took him to the Green Blue Trail bobsled, and it's not a trail you should be teaching absolute newbies on, like, because they have no skills at all. Skills that you take for granted, like letting the bike move under you, they didn't have at all. So
I heard there were tears involved in a couple of those incidents.
Yeah, one cried, two injured themselves, and then I think the fourth one is like, I'm never doing this again. So
it is funny, man. It's such a weird high bar.
Yeah.
For mountain biking, especially because it's so expensive. I mean, you could borrow a bike, but then you still need kind of clothes and a helmet, and you can kind of sort of borrow stuff to kind of sort of do your first ride, but the filter is very, very tough.
You need to be learning on really, really easy, like almost just gravel sidewalks or something. And then the cost bar is high. Like I met my wife Yuka, and she bought a friend's bike to try, and she's like, "Oh yeah, I think it's cool," but kind of like neither way. She wasn't like, "Oh, I'm gonna do this for sure." So, but I wanted her to do it. So when I met her in New Zealand. When we came back to Canada, I bought her a bike.
Yeah.
Basically because like there's no way she's gonna buy a bike herself if she's not that keen on it. But now that I did that, she's loving it, and she's going for rides without me, and I'm busy editing. She's like, I'm going for a ride.
That's cool.
That kind of thing. So yeah, it's awesome.
So Yuka's from Japan, you're from Canada, but you meet in New Zealand.
So yeah, she was working in a town called Tianau on the South Island, and I was traveling in a camper van across New Zealand by myself, and
how long was that trip?
That was 2 months for me.
Wow, you get time off of work like that?
Well, at the time I was working a contract between contracts. I'm like,
okay.
I'm gonna go traveling between contracts.
Yeah.
Like, it's easy to do when you know you have work when you go back home.
Of course.
Right? Yeah, and we met on a hiking trail in New Zealand, and it was in New Zealand when you hike, it's just all huts, right? And in this particular hiking trail, the Milford Track, it's the most popular trail in New Zealand. You have to just go hut by hut by hut, and you can't skip huts. So every night you're hanging out with the same people. And yeah, I made quite a few friends on that trip, including Yuka. And since she worked in a nearby town, we hung out for a while. And then eventually I was like, well, do you want to travel with me? Because I'm going to travel more of the South Island and go back to the North Island. And she said yes. She quit her job and she joined me. And then she had her first ride in Rotorua, and then after that we went to Thailand for 3 weeks.
Wow.
And then she came over to Canada, and
And you guys got married pretty quick?
Yeah, I think we got married a year after we met. So, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah, it's awesome. She's awesome.
Yeah. I've heard stories. I haven't met her yet, but she sounds like a little fireball.
Yeah, she's just so chill, so relaxed. Like nothing really phases her. Yeah.
So the big question, of course, is okay, Whistler for now, but then what's on the list for later? You gotta escape the snow.
Oh yeah. So to go south? Yeah. Well, I'll probably visit you sometime.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's tons of stuff in California, Utah. Arizona I'd love to see, and then I'd love to head down to Mexico eventually. A lot of people are going to say, don't go to Mexico. I think I'll probably live, but if I don't, then you can just say I told you so.
You've done some hardcore traveling though, right? I mean, Bolivia, getting your truck stuck in the mud, you were telling me a story. I mean, so you're not afraid of kind of getting out there.
Yeah, traveling's awesome. But what I didn't tell you is I've been to North Korea twice, which is maybe a little controversial. It's not a fun trip, but it's a really intellectually stimulating trip. It's not for everybody, that's for sure. But it's one of the most memorable trips.
Wow.
I went to Japan with Yuka for 2 months to go mountain biking, and that was awesome. Japan is just probably the funnest country I've been to. It's just so culturally interesting. But just everybody's really friendly and happy, and they're just happy to see you and keen.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that comes through in some of your videos for sure. Your downhill race video is just so interesting. Mm-hmm. You won a bag of rice.
I won a bag of rice, which I was totally surprised by and really stoked on. Yuka's grandmother ended up with that bag of rice because we didn't really have a way to cook it in this tiny little van we were sleeping in. But yeah, it was cool. And then she got some cream or something, and yeah.
Man, all this talk of Japan. I hope we get to go to Japan sometime.
Yeah.
I'd love to go. I think the key is having Yuka as the the translator, and kind of us being like, whoa.
Totally. Yeah. We both have a ton of experience there now, so we know where everything is and how it kind of works.
Ooh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Because I always think about it, but it's just not something I could do on my own.
Yeah, it could be tricky, and a lot. There are some people that speak English, but a lot of people maybe speak just very little, and maybe a little bit intimidating.
Of course.
So
You're a
yeah.
celebrity there now.
I don't know about that, but yeah, I feel like maybe I had some effect.
You're on the map a little bit with
Yeah.
the Japanese mountain biking culture.
I think so, and you know, there's a lot of like Japanese comments and stuff when I post the Japanese videos.
Yeah,
yeah,
that's so cool.
Yeah.
because it is such a foreign, disconnected place to us. It's there. It's like right in arm's reach.
Yeah.
but it's not. It seems so far and so different. So
Yeah.
it's cool that you've pierced it and you kind of
yeah, with
making your
Yuka's
way.
help.
Yes, of course,
Yeah,
of
yeah.
course.
But yeah, part of it's just being willing to be a little adventurous and put yourself out there and just try. And yeah,
That's what this whole thing is about.
yeah,
It really
exactly.
is.
Yeah,
Thanks, Eric.
yeah.
That was a good one.
Sweet.
Thanks for watching, you guys. I'll see you on the trail.